Okay, well, we talked about in our last video about what we hated about professional wrestling, and now we're going to talk about what we hate in the world of professional football. And I'm trying to think of the first one on my list. It's just not coming to me. Oh, yeah! Fuck Favre! Okay? If there's one thing I can't stand, it's this annual wishy-washy will he or won't he bullshit.
For about 6 years now, maybe more, Brett Favre has considered retirement and come back every time.
It's painfully obvious that he's just looking. He's a glory hound looking for another fucking Super Bowl ring.
As a Packer fan, it was extremely frustrating.
I'll bet.
And I
can't even imagine.
I applauded the decision to say, you know what, Aaron Rodgers was drafted for a reason. He's our guy.
Yeah.
We're not going to send 3 dudes to visit you in Mississippi and pray that you come back to us. You can go do your own thing. So what did Favre do? Insist on trying to play for the Vikings. So the Packers, like they should have, sent him to the AFC. So what did Favre do? Insist on getting his way and insist on playing for the Vikings.
Because the Jets thing didn't work out. He didn't make the Super Bowl. He didn't even make the playoffs.
He got hurt and played through the pain and, did more harm than good.
Yeah. But, he's... I'm a Bears fan, and I feel bad on behalf of Packers fans that I know, and Packers fans around the world that are now seeing this dude. I mean, I guess it's kind of similar to what's going on in the NFC East, but with McNabb. But I mean, it's not the same, really. I don't think.
No, I don't compare it to McNabb at all. Here you've got in Green Bay a quarterback that is the future of the franchise, and it has proven capable. And for the last 2 years, he's gotten progressively better. They've given him the weapons he needs, and he's going to be an elite quarterback. In Brett Favre, you've got a guy who holds your offense hostage each offseason.
Yeah.
And he could be the Favre of last year who put up record numbers, or he could be the Favre that threw Green Bay into 8-8 seasons.
I mean, why would you come back now? I mean, as much as I despise Brett Favre, he had such a phenomenal season last year. And have a season like he did at his age, that's how I'd want to go out.
Maybe it's cliche, and maybe, it's been overplayed, and maybe Favre's tired of hearing it, and I doubt he'll listen to this video. But he had to stand on the other side of the field while John Elway created his legacy by winning a Super Bowl and then winning a second one and retiring. And I think Favre wants that. I think Favre wants to win and basically have the last word, which is what he does in the offseason with his own team, with the media, during the season. He insists on having the last word.
And it's pathetic.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you hate about football?
A little bit better?
I do. I feel a little something off my chest. Brett Favre. Fuck you! Anyway, go ahead, sir.
Oh, man. Things I hate in football. Well, I'm going to go off the board here. I really hate that draft picks get $50 million.
Yes.
I don't think that's right at all, that a draft pick who has not played a single snap now decides what other teams have to pay their elite quarterbacks. We're talking Sam Bradford getting $50 million guaranteed, and he hasn't played a single game, and he's on a team that may not succeed with him at quarterback anyway.
On the Rams, for God's sake.
And now the Rams have to pay $50 million to one player when they really should be spending $50 million to get 6 or 7 players to improve their squad.
Yeah, and I mean,
how does that help anybody? Look at the Lions. They've taken top 5 picks like each year in the last decade. Where's that gotten them? Still taking top 5 picks.
And frankly,
they need a wage scale like the NBA has, where rookies are guaranteed a certain amount of money, and they are guaranteed to have to play for a certain amount of years before they're allowed to go out and try to find a new contract.
Yeah,
it hurts the league.
And I would say the
bottom
same
teams back.
I would expand that. I would say the same thing, but just the general money grubbing in the NFL, especially right now.
Darrelle Revis.
You've got Darrelle Revis starting to hold out, and I mean, on the one hand, he is a phenomenal quarterback.
If we're going to talk in value of what they make, he's worth more than the $1 million contract, the $1 million per year contract he has.
Yeah, but
he's not worth $40 million.
Yeah,
or $30 million.
And I know
how many times you go
that
to
there
your
are
boss
other
and ask for a
cornerbacks.
300% rating.
I know that the Raiders cornerback is the highest paid or something like that. But why are you doing this? I don't understand. Do you really need that much more money? Isn't he the guy that has his own fucking island? I mean,
You know what else I hate? You know what else I hate?
What do you hate?
The fact that the NFL might go on strike next year. You have the premier sports league in America, perhaps the best run and best organized league, and you may go on strike next year. You guys can't just sit at the table and go, let's just keep this going? Let's talk a couple years from now when we can actually agree on something.
What I would do to make the kind of money that,
a ref makes?
Yeah. I was going to say, Lee Evans, but that works too.
I think he's paid less than Jeff Triplett. By the way, Jeff Triplett, apparently his mic was left on while they were talking amongst other refs at an exhibition game, and he was dropping F-bombs and all kinds of curse words to a live audience.
And there was
awesome.
And there was the other ref who admitted he made a mistake during that Super Bowl, the Seahawks. That cost the Seahawks the game. I thought that was pretty funny.
Thanks. You can always go work in Major League Baseball. They don't have a shortage of bad umps.
I hate this concept of going to 18 games.
Terrible idea.
Hate it.
Right now, the way the schedule is structured, for those who don't follow it that closely, every division is 4 teams. You play everybody in your division twice, home and away. So that's 6 games right there. Then you play another division within your own conference for another 4 games. That gives you 10 games. Then you play one division in the opposing conference, all 4 of their teams. So that's 14 games. And then the NFL gets 2 games that they get to say, we're going to base your games based on how your record was last year. Strength of schedule. Try to balance things. Try to get teams competitive that weren't necessarily competitive. By doing that, it creates competitive balance, and it's a perfect organizational structure. If you add 2 more games, you are then putting more players at risk for more injuries when we've already got huge concerns about concussions. We already can't keep quarterbacks in for an entire season on almost any team.
It's ridiculous.
Adding 2 more games is a terrible idea, and it ruins that whole perfect structure of how the schedule's built. You know what else I hate, though? The fact that Los Angeles is building a football stadium without a team. I'm tired of hearing about my Jaguars being moved to L.A. more than hearing about my Jaguars' offense or defense. I don't care if L.A. gets a team. They didn't support the Rams. They didn't support the Raiders. They didn't support the Chargers. They're not going to support another team. If it's an expansion team, it's a horrible idea because then you're throwing off the alignment of everything.
Yeah.
If it's a team moving there, then you're throwing off divisions. You're disenfranchising a fan base to allow for fans that are passive anyway to have a football team just because it's the second major media market in the country. It's a terrible idea.
You know what I hate? The Minnesota Vikings.
Really?
Yeah. Can't stand the Vikings.
Me neither!
And
I freaking hate them!
Their quarterback sucks, too.
Yeah!
For the record. Yeah, seriously. And
poop all over everything that's good. I was raised to hate the Vikings. It was one of those things that you learn early, like one of those father-son moments. One of the earliest father-son moments I have is my dad explaining to me that the rival of the Packers is the Vikings. And I took that as I should probably hate the Vikings then.
Yeah.
It's only grown into a completely irrational hatred for the Vikings. And I had to live in Minnesota when Randy Moss was a rookie. Worst effing year as a football fan. That's all I got to say. Until Anderson missed that kick and the Falcons went to the Super Bowl. Don't you forget that, Vikings fans.
And the Lions haven't been worth hating recently. Haven't been worth the trouble of hating.
I almost feel bad for them.
Yeah.
Like the Lions, like they're a cat at the pound. Oh, it's so cute. Okay. I'm not going to take you home. But I do really feel bad for you, and I'll tell somebody else about you.
Yeah, one of the guys next door when I was living on First Avenue was a Lions fan, and it was just so much fun.
God.
Because I knew I was always going to be able to heckle him. The only time he ever got to heckle me was when they beat the Browns.
That was the best game last season.
Best game of the season.
Let's talk about something else.